What does it take to break through barriers in football? Today on Inside Forward, we're going to talk about a young footballer who is not only making headlines on the pitch but also standing as a symbol of change for an entire community. This is the story of Brandon Kayla, a footballer with Indian roots paving the way for future generations. First things first, let's get to know Brandon Kayla. Born in 2005, Brandon Kayla is a young footballer currently honing his craft in Birmingham City Football Club. But what sets him apart is not just his skill, it's his heritage. Kayla comes from a British South Asian family of Punjabi Sikh origin, a community that has long been underrepresented in professional football in the UK. Brandon's family, like many South Asians in the UK, comes from a rich cultural and sporting background, but football has not always been the sport of choice for British Asians due to a mix of social barriers and systemic underrepresentation. Kayla's rise to prominence is helping to rewrite that story. Now, how did he go from a young dreamer to a professional footballer? Kayla's footballing journey began early, joining Birmingham City's academy at just 8 years old. He quickly stood out with his tactical intelligence, smooth ball control, and versatility as a central midfielder. His hard work culminated in him signing a professional contract in July 2022, making him the first British South Asian to achieve this at Birmingham City. At only 17 years old, Kayla was making history, not just for himself, but for an entire underrepresented community of football lovers. His professional contract was a huge step forward, both in his career and for the visibility of British South Asian talent in English football. Let's dig deeper into why Brandon Kayla's story is so important for football, especially for players of Indian descent. The South Asian community in the UK is one of the largest minority groups, yet when it comes to professional football, their representation is shockingly low. Studies show that British South Asians make up 7 to 8% of the UK's population, but only account for 0.25% of professional footballers. That's a massive gap. For Indian origin players like Kayla, football has historically been a difficult space to break into. Cultural expectations, a lack of role models, and limited opportunities in grassroots football have contributed to this underrepresentation, but things are changing, and Kayla is at the forefront of that change. One of the most critical questions now is, how do we leverage this rising talent to make a global impact? Now here's where things get really interesting. With Brandon Kayla's rise, many football fans are asking, could he play for the Indian national team? This isn't just a hypothetical question. This is a discussion that's gaining momentum in football circles. India is a country with over 1 billion people and one of the fastest growing football fan bases in the world. And yet, the Indian national team has struggled to make a mark internationally. One potential solution? Tapping into the Indian diaspora. There are countless Indian origin players born in the UK, Canada, and elsewhere, who could significantly boost India's footballing capabilities. Players like Michael Chopra have advocated for Indian origin talent to be made eligible to play for India. The challenge, however, lies in FIFA's eligibility rules and India's stringent nationality laws. As it stands, players who have represented other countries at the youth level, like Kayla with England, could face barriers in switching allegiance to India. But imagine this, if those barriers were removed, talented players like Kayla could be given the chance to compete at the highest levels for India. This could ignite a football revolution in a country that's already passionate about the sport. So, where does this leave Brandon Kayla and his future? At just 19 years old, Kayla's career is only just beginning. He's currently playing for Birmingham City, but it won't be long before we see him make his debut for bigger teams in England. And beyond club football, the question of his international future is still open. Could we see him represent India on the world stage? Or will he remain with England? Would you like to see him follow the footsteps of other British South Asians like Hamza Chowdhury, who just got his Bangladeshi passport? No matter where he plays, one thing is certain. Brandon Kayla is more than just a footballer. He's one of the symbols of change, inspiring countless young Indian origin players to chase their dreams. Football is about more than just goals, it's about representation and identity. And that's the inspiring story of Brandon Kayla, a young footballer making history and laying the groundwork for a more inclusive future. What do you think? Should Indian origin players like Kayla be made eligible to play for the Indian national team? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inside Forward for more deep dives into football's most intriguing stories. Until next time, remember, the beautiful game is for everyone.